All right, thank you, everyone. And first of all, thank you, everyone, to be here and listening the great conversation so far. And the next is power of generative AI in cybersecurity. As Brent said, efficiency, productivity, those are the two keywords which we are using it. How well we can automate the process and we can actually get the maximum benefit out of it. So my name is Shibu Nair. I'm a principal solution architect at AWS, close to 10 plus years in AI and data. That's my experience on data and AI experience. On top of that, altogether, I have close to 25 years of IT experience. So let's talk about generative AI for a second before we move on, right? So generative AI, pretty much everybody know that after last year, November, OpenAI come with a groundbreaking innovation, right? So even though generative AI was there, how they democratize it and how common people start using it. So generative AI is a type of AI that can create new content and ideas, right? Including conversations, stories, images, videos, and music. Like all AI, generative AI is powered by ML models, which we all know that, but very large models that we are pre-trained on vast corpus of data and commonly referred to as the foundation models. So that's, in a nutshell, that is generative AI. And we actually start seeing what exactly generative AI is going to be useful. And in the productivity point of view, we can generate images, we can that for marketing content, we can start, writing emails easily, we can summarize it. So we have seen many common applications by generative AI. Now I'm going to talk about how AWS is going to be pricing ourselves, in generative AI space. So what we have come up with 5 core pillars, how AWS is, make ourselves in a distinguishable way, generative AI, how we are actually providing the benefit to our customers. The first one is the flexibility. So we provide the flexibility to our customers to choose from wide variety of foundational models built on AI 21 Labs, Anthropic, Stability AI, and Amazon. So we have more than 25 years of experience in artificial intelligence and machine learning, and we are actually bringing that experience to our customers. So I'll go a little bit quick on this one because our core topic is cybersecurity, and distilled down to there. Right. And the second point is security, right? Secure and customization. So customers want to be easy to take the base foundational model and build a differentiated apps using their own data. So since the data customers want to use for customization is incredibly valuable intellectual property, right? So they need to stay completely protected, secure, and private during that process. And they want to control over how their data is shared and used. So using our service, the newly introduced service called Bedrock, and the only few labeled example you really need, customers need it. And that can be fine-tuned the model for a particular task without having to annotate large volume of data. So take that perspective and put that in the cybersecurity space. That's what I'm going to talk about in next few slides coming up. But before that, so what the third distinguishable point here is the most cost-effective infrastructure, right? So customers are trying to do with foundational models, running them, building them, customizing them. So they need the most performant, cost-effective infrastructure that is purpose-built for machine learning, right? Over the last 5 years, AWS has been investing our own silicon to push the envelope to the performance and price performance for demanding workloads like machine learning, training, and inference. So the training is one of the important part, and inference is another important part, right? So AWS Trainium and AWS Inferential chips so offer the lowest cost for training models and running inference in the cloud. So this ability to maximize the performance and control of the cost by choosing the optimum machine learning infrastructure is why leading AI startup like Cohere, Anthropic, Grammarly, Runway ML, AI 21 Labs, I'm just naming a few, and definitely Stability AI, Hugging Face, all run on AWS right now. So created foundation models on AWS. So the fourth point is the easiest way to build these foundation models. So customer want that easy of use, right? So they want to quickly integrate and deploy foundational models into their applications and workload running on AWS using familiar controls and integrations with AWS depth and breadth of the capabilities. I just read about an article from McKinsey. So according to them, right, I mean, we all know this, but when McKinsey is going to come up with that article, it's going to be have more impact because they did that kind of study in the market. They said generative AI is, think about its majority of the work is on the data, right? So only the icing on the cake is generative AI, how we can actually getting maximum insights from the data and automate in a generative fashion. That's what exactly generative AI is doing, right? So which we all know that. I mean, there is no doubt in it, but that's very performant, right? Very distinguishable. And the fifth point is generative AI powered solutions. So with generative AI built in, services such as Amazon Code Whisperer and AI coding, that's an AI coding companion, right, can help you to improve productivity. So users will be able to have more natural and seamless interactions with applications and systems without even knowing there is an ML involved. So that's a very powerful companion for any developers or coders while they are using their doing their development process. So with that, so I will take that as a cybersecurity alarm, right? So companies can address and mitigate the disruptions of the future only by taking more proactive steps. So forward-looking stance, that's one of the important steps, right? So over the next 3 to 5 years, according to McKinsey, we expect 3 major cybersecurity trends that cross-cut multiple technologies to have the biggest implications for organizations. So those are hackers are using AI right now. So we need to be one step ahead of them to protect our organizations, our IPs, right? Our data, very important. Machine learning, that's going to be another segment which is actually vastly disrupting in every segment, right? And the other one is the technologies to launch increasingly sophisticated attack. So today, cyber hacking is a multi-billion enterprise. So how we are going to, I mean, I don't want to go to the slides. This is McKinsey public slide, which they were talking about the 101.5 billion in projected spending service providers by 2025. So the question is all the organizations are equipped by themselves to protect their organizations. So moving to cyber threat continue to increase the type and frequency. But out of all these, so you can see the 4 quadrant here. So reactive, automate, up-leveling security professionals, reactive, automate, the mundane, and proactive. So if we put all those into 4 quadrant, the happening, the automation which is happening, or non-automation which is happening. So out of all these 4 quadrants, where the CISO is laser focused, I would say stop it before it happens, because once it happens, damage is already done, right? It's going to be affect the brand value, it's affecting your customers, it's affecting the loyalty of the customers. So go proactive rather than reactive. That's very important. So don't want organizations need to pay hefty fine, blacklisted, and losing customers. In the 4th quadrant, let's take a look at threat hunting. It is a security function that combines proactive methodology, innovative technology, and threat intelligence to find and stop malicious activities. That's the threat hunt part of it, right? Threat hunting is a practice of proactively searching for cyber threats that are lurking undetected in the network, right? But Brent said that they actually collect information about the vulnerabilities. So vulnerabilities databases are available, right? And the level 7 logs are available. And other things which is happening in your organizations, all these are, end of the day, all these are data. how well we can correlate this data and getting conclusions out from the data. That's very important. So that's what we are going to talk about. So right now, if you really look at what's up there in the proactive area right now. So AWS customers have asked us how they can quickly take advantages of what's out there today and begin using foundational models and generative AI within their business and organizations to drive new level of productivity and transform their offering. So right now, if you really look at offerings, what they have, majority of them are vendor locked, domain generated algorithms, right? So we know that there is no transparency of the data used to train the algorithm, which vendor is providing it, because they cannot do a generalized model, because they can do only generalized model. They cannot use custom models for every customer are using their product. And we don't know how well vendor-specific algorithms fit into your domain. That's customization is completely blocked because you are buying something and you cannot customize well enough to suit for your organizations based on your data points, which you have it. And data used to train the algorithm, and that may be outdated, right? Because the vulnerability last week versus this week, it's completely changed. We know how it is impacting. Brent said, again, according to Brent for it, how the organization will be impacted for the incident last year, right? So where you want to be in that case. So you need to have a model which you build it based on your organization's security specific data, right? And how you can generalize that model with up-to-date information, which you can get it from the internet, which you can get it from the vulnerability database, which is available there. So we rely on third-party aggregators there. So not only one third-party aggregator, you can actually rely on multiple third-party aggregators. And then proactively notify and maintain the security posture of your organization. So the CISO office can look at the security posture of their organization constantly every day, like first thing in the day, right? And look at is how many of that vulnerabilities out there affecting my organization, and reduce the security operational cost and increase productivity. And that's back to Ron's talking about the productivity point. So we cannot ask for more resources. Instead of that, with less resource, we need to produce more. That's going to be the new trend. And that's the reason. That's not a new trend. And that's what everybody wants to do, right? So how we can leverage technology to take us there. So I'll give you a process flow diagram here, right? So the security analyst is going to ask a question and see from the CISO office, what are the top vulnerabilities and how it is affecting me? And the action is generative behind the scene. Generative AI provide a necessary information to fix the vulnerability and track the progress. How? I'm going to explain that in the next slide. And the outcome is generative AI provide that necessary information to fix the vulnerability and track the progress, which can be integrated with your ITSM, right? With your service now, right? And if we look at more on the technical side of it, so collect the information, collect the common vulnerability, CVE data from the aggregator. That's the step one. And coming to your data lake and collect and process and store it in your data repository. That's your lake. And then vectorize that common vulnerability exposure data, right? And doing an embedding search on it, right? And then based on the search result, parse the result and search in your CMDB. So that's the key here, right? So this is one of the key point here, because we integrate with ServiceNow. So ServiceNow, when you have, for example, I take Log4j, 3 of your applications is using Log4j, and vulnerabilities is reporting in early December, right? And you get that information, and somebody is going to type, what are the top vulnerabilities? And Log4j came. And the next question is, does it affect me? The next question CISO is asking, or somebody from his office is asking. That's going to be the embedding search and the search result coming in by using the vectorization. And it's going to give you a result. Oh, top 3 applications, these 3 applications are affected with this one. And the next question, hey, send a notification to them and with the fix we're supposed to do. And that majority of the time, that information is coming from the vulnerabilities, it's vulnerability database itself, how to fix it. Otherwise, there will be an extra step to do it. So it's going to be creating that email automatically. We will use generative AI there to create that email. And with the steps to step by step to fix that and send that email to the application owners, right? And when they do it, it's all tracked in an incident response system. That's another automation we are plugging here. And incident response system is going to be track that progress and going to the solution and problem management and the process flow side of it. So how we can accomplish this, a reference architecture I can think of, right? So here you can see the contextual search here. So if it is a CISO or an analyst, is once they logged in based on your chat interface, right? So is HITL means human in the loop. So chat interface is going to tell based on your previous chat history. So is and identifying the user persona identification by integrating with your AD system, and context identification coming from the chat history, what he has been asked for the last, based on your data is being collected for the last 3 months. This person may be interested. So we'll be providing some kind of prompt guidance or probably Q&A guidance. Then user pretty much click on it. Okay, give me the top vulnerabilities. What's going to be happen is that chat interface is going to get the prompt library. And prompt library is going to provide this user the profile identification and context identification. The question is actually going to the user question come here and going to the Bedrock for text embedding. So what that does is it's going to be vectorizing that and sending that information back to the OpenSearch. So where the OpenSearch is capable of doing the vectorization and doing the vector search as well. So this is before it's doing that search. This portion is important. Your data coming from, I put two aggregators here, CVE data source and Feedly. And if, for example, the Brent was talking about, they are having that up-to-date vulnerability information that can come here too. So all coming to the CVE lake, common vulnerability lake. And we'll be doing an offline document indexing. That means embedding. We'll be doing that embedding and store that in OpenSearch. So when we are actually doing, the Bedrock is going to do a vectorized search here, it is going to give you the top vulnerabilities. We will be using this area, we'll be using generative AI, the Bedrock service to embedding here and getting that k-nearest neighbor search and providing you the relevant document, which is going to be contextual in this specific user question. On top of that, if you are using Amazon Security Lake in your organization, that log also can be indexed and stored that in OpenSearch. So this too is going to provide you a comprehensive search in your organizational data, organizational security data, plus the data which is available, which is up there in the internet from the aggregators. So power of joining your organization data plus your external data on security point of view. And that document is going to give it to you. And then we'll create a prompt generation here. So what we do here is we will be using a pattern called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG pattern, right? So RAG pattern is powerful because if you ask that question directly, let's take this thing out for a second. And if you ask that question, what's the top vulnerability in my organization, that's going to give you the top vulnerabilities, but it's not going to give you the relevancy of that vulnerability to your organization. That would be exactly needed. That's the reason your SharePoint, CMDB, everything comes here. So that's going to be augmenting that information from your application, whether your application is being exposed on that specific technology, which is being present in the vulnerability database. So that correlation is something which is going to be happening here. And then that is going to be a prompt, and that prompt is going to send, okay, summarize it, and we are using GenAI here and embedding here, right? So GenAI here summarize that information and sending that answer back to the CISO. It's all other than these two areas, everything is going to be real time. So analyst got that information and he's checking the next chat, going to say that, okay, send this information to relevant stakeholders. And again, that chat goes this way, user prompt, and would be having some kind of programmable logic here. And then instead of going the embedding at that time, it is direct prompt and creating an email, automatic email generation, and getting this information, the application owners, from here in the very first flow, we probably keep that in a specific, either going to be keep that in the session or could be keep it in the DynamoDB, and then collecting that application owner name and sending that information to all the application stakeholders to fix it. And the next potential collaboration here is integrating with incident response system, which I didn't put it here. It's outside the scope of this presentation. So incident response system integrating with your ServiceNow is going to be creating the corresponding incident ticket and assigning to the corresponding application owner, and that going to the proper cycle of service, your ITSM process. So that is an innovation on the security space. Doesn't matter which industry it is pertaining to, it's cross-industry use case because everybody wants security and everybody want to protect their security. Everybody want to maintain the security posture of their organization, regardless of which industry they are, right? So that's the power of Gen AI using in cybersecurity space. And this one use case, there are multiple use cases can be happening in the future. So that's pretty much it is, and open for any other questions.